music is great.
It is great.
All right, welcome back, y'all. What's up, friends?
What up?
Hi.
Welcome back.
Friends after 40.
Friends after 40.
You all in sync.
And those of you close to it.
Yeah.
Well, those of you past it, not naming names.
Well,
Well,
you about
I
to get
mean,
a shoe get
after
thrown at
40
you.
is everything after 40, isn't it?
Everything after 40. Everything. All right, so tonight's episode,
Yikes.
what we're getting into this evening, we're talking about habits that create and maintain a healthy and happy relationship. One that would try to match the one that Lisa and I have. So let's talk about it.
Wait, so we're saying romantic relationships, not just friendships?
Relationships.
Couples.
Okay.
You want to start with couples? We can do
Okay.
couples.
I mean, friendships can actually be a part of this discussion as well, right?
Yeah.
Because some of them,
I mean,
not a lot of them are going to be relatable, but, you know, some
Well, I like
maybe.
gifts.
What?
so gifts.
I like
what-
gifts.
What,
So-
you want your friends to give you gifts or your
I want everyone
partner?
to give me gifts.
And gifts helps to build a healthy relationship. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Gifts?
Yeah. It's a token of appreciation.
Do you give gifts?
Like what?
Thank yous.
Oh,
Thank you.
cards. Thank you, cards.
No, they're more verbal.
Oh.
But you want something
Oh, you didn't
tangible.
even buy a card.
Yeah, it could be a little thing, you know? It goes a really long way. It's very thoughtful.
So it could be a little thing like what?
A lollipop?
A lollipop.
Got you. I got you.
Sometimes
I'm
you
about to
come
make our
home-
relationship real
Listen.
strong.
He's going to buy a bag of those yum-yums.
Got
Listen,
you.
sometimes you
I'ma
don't
buy
even
some
realize it.
dum-dums.
When you-
Dum-dums.
No, but
Dum-dums.
you do it all
Dum
the
dum,
time.
give me dum dum.
Did you know that?
I what?
You do it all the time because your love language is acts of service. You bring me gifts all the time. They just are edible. No, you bring me little dark chocolate. You'll bring ingredients home for an amazing cocktail. You will whip up a great dinner. Little gifts. I think they're little
when
gifts.
you get those cupcakes. Those
the
are
little
yummy.
cupcakes. Yeah.
Yes,
The little things. I like them.
that is my love language. That is.
I know.
I don't have a love language.
Sure you do, James.
He's he's dumb.
My my love language is Amazon. Right,
What?
baby?
Gifts? That's gifts. It's
Yes.
giving.
Next
Back to
question.
Janine.
Next question.
No, James is he's not a gift giver often, but when he does give gifts, they're very grand and big.
Yes.
So
We
Yeah.
like that.
I do like that.
I'm still stuck on how we started with gifts as
That
you
was your
wanted
wife.
to open
The
up the floor
glue.
on this side, and that's what you
That-
got. Because we already
keeps
know what the answer is going to
relationship
be
going.
over there.
what? What's the answer over here?
Sex.
Are you going to say that it's not?
Sex.
No, I'm gonna say that I don't ask for much.
You don't ask for much. You're talking about in terms of sex or overall?
I'm talking about in a relationship. I don't ask for much.
Okay, but in particular, when it comes to sex, you like a lot of sex.
This is accurate.
You have clearly stated this.
So we're talking frequency.
And this is what he says. He's like, all I want is sex. Like, I don't need anything else, and I'm happy, right?
Well, it's very well documented that is a healthy part of any long-lasting relationship.
It's intimacy.
It's intimacy. That's
Yeah, but
correct.
there can be
true.
different types of intimacy. It doesn't have to be sexual intimacy. It could be like you're holding my hand, you're cuddling.
Yes.
We have like a deep conversation about
Yes.
whatever it is. It doesn't have to
Oh,
be
so you agree
physical.
with that? Because I feel like this side of the room, yes. This side, I don't know.
No, I agree in a sense that all of those things have a build up to a strong level of intimacy. But it's a build up to something.
To sex.
yeah.
I mean, there has to be some type of climax.
See? And we're back.
I'm talking about the peak of intimacy. That's
Right.
what I'm talking
I know.
about.
So
Exactly.
leading up
I
to
know.
that, you don't care about anything else that leads up to that, just long as you're having physical intimacy, sex. Because I feel like with
No.
us, it has to lead up, like, it needs to be like a progression of like things. And it's
Right.
not just like buying things, you know?
Right.
It's just more like,
Like hold my hand.
Yeah.
Tell me, give me a
Yeah.
compliment. Tell me you love me.
tell
I don't
me
know.
I'm pretty and feed
Just
me
tell me-
tacos.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
All
not
week
saying
long.
I think
Right?
I think for me, that build up can be in the form of support.
Yes,
Like Meth said, rub me on my back and tell me everything will be okay.
exactly.
Um,
I hear you, because I feel like I think that's more relatable to us women, because we want that, and that'll just make us like, oh, okay. And it's not like, oh, it's 9:30, we're gonna have sex now, you know, like
Right.
that kind of thing. Is it's like I want to feel all of that,
yes.
and then so then when we do have sex, it doesn't feel like a chore, you
Right.
know. It feels like it's reciprocated. It feels like we're emotionally connected and invested. That's how I feel.
I felt like in our relationship, it was a matter of, and we might even get into this, talking about the division of household chores and stuff like that. But I know a clean house and an empty sink are some things that really turn my wife on.
I think they turn a lot of women on. I think that turns a lot of women on, believe it or not. You know, put that laundry away, take out that garbage. There's a lot of things.
It is a lot of things.
And it may not sound like that way to you, but for us, it's like, okay, he's paying attention. I'm not doing this by myself. And that is like, oh, okay, let me go
Right.
put on this nice little and we can go,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
So,
I mean, yeah, I absolutely
Yeah.
agree. I
Okay.
mean, I think it's almost like how do you demonstrate partnership, right? And I think that household chores is a great space for couples to practice that in different ways, because I think mostly what I hear is women complaining, but men complain too, not just about household stuff, but it's, other things in relationships about equity. And so when you participate in that and say, okay, let me, do the dishes or make sure they get done, or, I think my wife would appreciate that. The message that we get is he gets me, he understands. I'm not just sitting here complaining and he thinks I'm a nag. He's truly listening and then taking action, and that makes you feel like you have a partnership.
yep.
Yeah.
But for
You
the
know?
men listening out there, it should not be for the goal of sex. It should be for the
But-
goal of supporting
Yes, but you might
Your
get
relationship.
But
lucky.
you start with the why.
If you
right.
Start
outcomes.
with the why.
Right.
If we're going towards outcomes, it's just icing on the cake. But I'm just saying, right?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Is that a good
Icing on
answer,
the
babe?
cake.
Perfect
Say so.
answer.
Is a good
But-
answer? Okay.
And I think that from and I don't want to just say men, because just couples in general, and you have all types of structures of couples, but from the spouse that, like you mentioned, is stating that they would appreciate equity, they might feel like they might do a tit for tat, like, well, you're not helping me here, that's why I'm not helping you there. And I think that that's where people fall into that quagmire of
Quagmire.
of
Can you phonetically spell that? I'm just
Quagmire.
kidding.
quag MEYER or I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
But go
I
on.
don't know. Can you spell every word that you
He can probably
use?
try.
I don't use big words just for that reason.
But I think what
Like
you're saying
irregardless?
also, if I'm reading or hearing correctly, is like that's, communication makes a big deal in your relationship, right? Because if you don't have that communication and you're just going off of, well, if I do the dishes, hopefully I'll get lucky, you know what I mean? Then it's just
Right.
like, it's not really gonna work.
right?
You know?
And that's why I kept saying start with why, because well, essentially, why are you doing it? You're doing it to build a stronger relationship. And if you build a stronger relationship, all of the other things will come, right? You'll get the attention, the affection, all the other things that you desire in a relationship when you just put in the work with the intention of building a strong relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think that most times for most men that I know, it doesn't come easy or natural.
No. I mean, who teaches? No one knows how to do these things. Like I come from a broken family. I didn't grow up in a mom and dad household, so I had no real example of what
Good partnering
a
look
good
like.
partnership.
Yeah, but you know what
should
you
look
wanted.
like. I know what I wanted, and even when I got what I wanted in my wife, I still didn't know
Yeah.
the right things to do.
You knew what not to
initially.
do.
I knew a lot of things not to do. Didn't stop me from doing some of them because because the apple doesn't fall far, right?
You learn.
But,
and you
you learn, and but then you learn from each other, right? And then it's a help me, teach me how to treat you, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And then we start to get to that space of whatever the title of this episode is. I forgot. It's a long one.
habits for a healthy and happy
Habits for a happy and healthy
Relationship.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That.
Right. So, I mean, back to what Lisa was saying earlier about communication. So, I know you said communication, but like let's define that effective communication.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
people just
because you
think
hear,
they're communicating.
and some people hear what they want to hear, right?
Yes. People think they're communicating, but what are they communicating? Are they communicating the right things with the right intention? So, is it open communication? Is it honest? Is it transparent? I think those are the things that probably would qualify what communication should look like.
Oh man. I mean, I think also in the way you communicate, right? So tonality, which I have a huge sensitivity to tonality.
I had to do a lot of
and-
work, y'all, on that
and
one.
the way
My tone was
people
crazy.
speak to me, right?
Yes.
And then just being told what to do. I don't like being told what to do. but
I can't stand being told what to do.
right. But I think we had an issue where in the way a message would be relayed, it just wasn't getting received because of the way it was being delivered, in the body language, in the tonality. And that plays a huge role in how you deliver your message, because you could be saying, I could say I love you and be like, I love you.
Right.
And it doesn't hit the same way.
Sure doesn't.
Right.
Nope.
And that's the way I tell my wife, I love her every morning. I love you.
Like, oh, shut up! You know I love you.
And then I mush her.
And, well, you know, that's a sign of affection, right?
That's how
He's like, then I donkey punch her. I did the dishes. Now where's my love?
you know my love
Where's
language.
my love language? It's called. You want to bring the other female in? Her name is Dawn. Dawn with the super splash. What's that powerful?
She knows how to get the grease out.
She knows how to, she knows how to smooth it over.
The power one.
Power. Dawn with all the power wash. All right. Well, what
There's a lot
about
in this
what was that? I missed that.
That's
What?
the only Dawn that's allowed in this house.
That's the only
Dawn's the only Dawn allowed now.
don't I think we could stay in communication for a bit, right? So how many times have you been communicated to and you just received that message all wrong?
Oh, a lot.
And the person delivering it was like, what? Huh? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand why you didn't understand what I was saying. How often does that happen?
A lot. I'll tell you what, one of the biggest things I got out of going back to school to become a therapist was finger pointing, right? So I think, well, I'm not going to say other people. I'll speak about myself. But I know for a fact what I was doing was whenever I was upset, it didn't matter if it was with you or a friend, it was always the other person, right? Well, they did whatever, right, to upset me, and I was justified in that. But then I was like, damn, it's not just them. Because when you take that finger and you point it at yourself and you really start to ask, okay, well, how did I show up here?
Yeah.
And it could be different, right? Sometimes it's in a big way and sometimes it's a small way, you know, but we always do something. And so I think one of the things that I got out of that was point the finger at yourself and do it before you point it at anyone else. And when you do that, it's very humbling. Very, very humbling. Because now you're like, you know what? Maybe the reason why that person had an attitude is because of the thing that you did, or maybe your tone wasn't right and you kind of gloss over your own role and stuff. And that was like really eye-opening. I think that can help in any kind of relationship,
All the
any
things.
kind of relationship.
Yeah, all
but
the
it's
things.
a really hard thing to do because how many people really want to be that honest with themselves? You know, because sometimes when you point that finger, you may not like, you know, what comes out of that. And it can be, you know, you can use it to grow and, you know, try and be honest, or you might just be like, I don't like this game. I'm not going to play this anymore, you know?
Next game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, next. I don't like this one.
I mean, to your point, you when you take responsibility, right, and because you can only control
Yourself.
yourself.
Yep.
When you take responsibility, you then can grow because you can see what you did, and then you can learn how to do it differently going forward. And you can take
If you're open to doing that,
if
yes.
you're open to doing
and that can be like such a big change in a great way for people. I mean, personally speaking, when I started to do that, I kind of went like this because I really was, you know, realizing some things about myself that weren't that great, in my opinion. But I think once I kind of got over that ego part of it, I really began to appreciate doing that, practicing that, because like I said, it was very humbling to go through that. But I think it was like change that I needed. I needed to do that. I needed to grow in that way. I needed to really kind of open my eyes, not just about the people around me, but myself.
You do.
know? I know, right? Like my
Yes.
tone was nasty.
Yeah, I mean, and that growth doesn't have to end. Like after this episode, we can take
He's
it
like,
offline.
while you're on it,
We can take this offline. Right?
you can take it offline.
Flesh it out,
Flush it out.
and
Put a pin in it.
and work through some other
do all the things. right?
things that
Yeah.
you may be able to improve on.
You have a list.
This
You got a
this is
list.
what I was worried about, right? Because once you start saying, "Oh, I'm gonna start working on myself," and then everybody's like, "Yeah, you're the problem. You were the problem," and I'm like, "Can we pause?" Because
Right?
I mean, I'm seeing what I'm doing wrong, but are we
Right.
gonna say what you're doing wrong now?
Right? Like, are you pointing that finger at yourself?
Yeah.
No.
It's
Well,
like,
look, I
can
think-
we do that?
No.
I think having healthy disagreement is good.
Yes. I think so too. I think it can be really
But
good.
so long as everyone is listening again with an open mind, and they are truly seeking to understand, because when we communicate
Yes.
wrong,
That's a big one.
when we communicate wrong, it's rooted in the fact that we just don't understand what's going on.
Yep.
We've said something out of misunderstanding,
Yep.
or lack of understanding,
Yep.
or the misinterpretation of things.
Yeah.
So asking, clarifying, asking, am I understanding something the right way or not? Those are all good ways
Yeah.
to have, I'll just say, healthy conflict
Yeah.
in relationships.
And to your point earlier, I didn't have an example of that. The example I had was, I'm not talking to you.
Oh, I'm known for that.
That's how
I am known for that.
Yeah,
I will not talk to you for a very long
silent
You were
time.
cut.
too.
you know.
There are times where people just don't want to keep talking about it. Like there is a moment where you have to a little bit of a
Yes.
timeout.
Yeah,
and you have to walk away.
And to your point, all the things you mentioned about the person that's delivering the message, the receiver of the message can assume good intent, and in that we can it doesn't have to go to a place where we fall over a cliff. We can still remain in that space where there's healthy communication, and we're dealing with we're we're hitting conflict head on, right? And dealing with the issue, dealing with the challenges before it gets to a space where we start name calling and
Fighting dirty.
Fighting dirty, yeah. And we probably would get into this early in our relationship. We had to
I was going
set.
to say that.
We had to set. Go ahead.
Why? Why do we have to set rules around how to fight? Because who was the dirty fighter?
You fought. Oh my gosh.
But can I
It's
tell
so
you,
dirty.
I didn't know that.
That he was a dirty fighter.
That I was a dirty fighter. I did not. No one had ever told me that. I thought that's just how it was. You curse, you say, because the relationships I had been in, that's how it went down.
Yes, because you
so-
always have to like have the last word and hurt and cut
All of that.
cut
All
deeper.
of it.
Yeah.
Yep. That was the goal right there.
Yes, that was the goal.
And
not like fixing it.
no.
The
Who's
goal
trying to fix
was
it?
the goal was
Nah,
I'm gonna
Janine
hurt
leans
you
in.
more than
Yep.
you hurt me.
Exactly. You heard what he
Yeah.
said?
No.
I would lean into it.
Yeah.
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 And he gave me that feedback a few times. And I was like, the first few times I was not receiving. I was like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. This is how you do.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's called the fight.
Yeah, duh.
She's like, I leaned into the fight part of this,
Right?
and this is where we're going.
Mike Tyson over here.
Right. And then I don't remember what finally clicked. He kept saying it. And I was like, damn. Maybe because I said something crazy, probably like really.
But you know
really
what was
mean.
good is that he kept saying it and then you finally
He kept
heard
saying it, and I
Yeah.
heard it.
Yep.
And then I was like, pointing that finger at myself, like, okay, you need to fix that. I needed to work on it.
What was some of the rules we created around fighting?
I remember no cursing, no
Oh,
name
that would
calling,
be a hard one for me.
no name calling. Yeah. Like you can curse, but not like I can't say like I can't curse really
Directed him.
at him.
Yeah.
You know.
Like you're a blah 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 blah
You
blah.
could curse
Right.
to describe a situation or something.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
You can be like, this
Yes.
is BS.
Right.
Yes,
But I can't
but
be
not
like,
like,
you're
you're
a
an
F-
a-hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And then no name calling with that.
I call him
We
a
tried to-
PUSSY.
Talking about going over a cliff.
I mean, that would be name calling, right?
Let the record state, Lisa has never
Never.
called me that.
No, I've never.
I'm
I've
glad
heard
you
other
clarified
people,
that
I've
for
heard
us.
other people call other people that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Same. I've heard that. It's funny.
It's
don't
funny
know
till
what
it
else.
happens to you.
Yeah, right? And then you was like, whoa.
What else? Trying to not cut each other off.
Trying, yeah. I mean,
Oh, that's
that
a
was
big one
difficult.
for
That's a
me.
huge.
Yeah, that was
and it's so
that was
hard when
difficult.
you're angry,
Yep.
right? It's
That's
so
so
hard.
hard.
The reason you're cutting each other off is because you've gone straight into defense mode.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're not letting the other person get
I understand, but it's
Yep.
see what happened there.
Yep. Yep.
right there.
I went
Right
into,
there,
I went
people.
into defense mode.
Right there.
Yep.
But I'm learning.
Are you though?
I'm learning.
Is he?
Did you see how I caught myself and stopped
Yes.
myself?
You pointed that finger right at.
Listen,
I'm gonna
James.
point it
Right
right
at
at
me.
him.
Very
let
good.
me tell you something.
How does that? What does he do on American Idol or what is
Yeah.
that show?
Yep.
It would be
Blake
great.
Shelton
I'm gonna do
does
that
this.
one.
It would be great to have.
Yep.
Voice.
The voice.
The voice.
I don't
yes.
watch The Voice,
Yeah, the voice.
I love
Blame
Blake.
but I'll
himself.
take your point.
He doesn't blame himself. He says, "Pick me, pick me."
Oh, well, blame me.
It'd be great to have a moderator like a debate and have someone else like, all right, your turn.
Right? Yeah.
That's usually called a mother-in-law.
What we need to do is have a buzzer. You need the buzzer
my
on, and
gosh.
it's already set for like 5 minutes, and then you be like, "My turn," boom, and you just keep talking
Yeah.
for that 5 minutes, and then when it goes off, then it's your turn.
But I need an instant replay too.
Well, sometimes in session, when you have couples like that, a lot of therapists will use an item and say, if you're not holding it,
the item,
you can't talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
that's-
I don't think that's going to work every time, but it's to get people into the habit of being mindful about
Let the other
the
speak.
other one's right.
I need speaker notes. I can't do it off the cuff. Not in this relationship. I need to be well prepared. 2 weeks of planning. I need somebody to review it.
That's your
I need to send it to India to create the slides.
India?
I need all the things.
Why India though? I can't. I just can't.
Because in a off the I'm not good in I'm not one for conflict. I'm not
You
good at
don't say.
conflict. So therefore when a conflict ensues or perceived conflict ensues, I'm not good at collecting my facts to have a good substantial debate.
Ramon
No one
says the same thing
No
about
one really
himself.
is, and that's because when you when you're in an argument, right, you become emotional. And once you start to become emotional, rationale goes
over.
out the window. So you stop thinking at a high level that you do when you're not being emotional. So it's like and sometimes I'll just remain quiet just not to say the wrong thing.
I remain quiet then to a fault, and then it sounds like I've got nothing to say.
But it makes it seem like you don't care.
Yeah. If you're too quiet.
Or it makes
You're
it
too
seem
quiet.
like I don't
Yes,
care.
you're too quiet, and then
Yeah.
you'll be quiet for days.
So you're thinking, are you introverted? Yes. You say you're like an
Is
extrovert.
it introvert, extrovert?
No, you say
I
you're a
don't know.
loud, what is it?
Loud
A
introvert.
loud introvert. Yeah. Because I know sometimes, I'm not going to say it's just introverts, but sometimes people just need time to process. And I get that. I think it's just you have to also say, hey, I didn't forget. I'm not ignoring you. I need a little space. I need some
Yeah,
time to
yeah.
work this out.
Yeah.
I said I'm
the,
thinking.
the
I know, 'cause
communication.
he's like that. Yeah.
I'm thinking.
It's the communication piece. It all goes back to, but it also, speaking on the communication piece, so saying something, even if it means a delay in what you really think, is progression, is progress.
Yeah.
And it might be what, Lisa might need or what Ramon might need in order to at least, we're going to stick a pin in it for now. We're not going to settle it, and we move on.
Right, because sometimes it's maybe you need to because you're both so emotional right there that you just need to be like, I need to come back to this because
Yes.
right now we're not getting anywhere,
Yeah.
and we need to just take a step back. Let's revisit this tomorrow when we clear head
Yep.
and just try to talk through it.
Yeah. And the best way and time to communicate is exactly like that. The problem with that is when something happens and it escalates like that,
Right.
that type of reasoning goes out the window. So if you do practice, let's just take a breather or whatever. I think that's the best way
Yeah.
to manage that, especially if you're a couple where things kind of like explode
Right.
very quickly.
I think it gets easier as you're in the relationship longer.
Yeah, you need practice, right?
You need practice.
Yeah.
You
You
need
need
a
a
whole
safe
lot.
word.
And that kind of fighting
word.
is draining.
Pineapple.
Pineapple.
Which is not our safe word, by the way. So we
Well,
didn't
now I
give it
gotta
away.
change it again.
Dang it! I just told everybody it's not it.
Right?
Well, so another habit that I think should be formed, if not already formed, is the simple thing, that being nice.
Yeah.
Just be,
Be
nice.
nice. I know.
Because I try to think of it in a way that, and Lisa's brought this up. She would say things like, "Would you talk to your coworkers that way?" And it's such a good point.
Yep.
And it's
I
like,
agree with that.
no, because they can fire me and I won't be able to pay for any of this anymore. That's not the answer. It is, you wouldn't talk to anybody else that way. Why talk to me that way? So the simple act of thinking about your significant other, the person you're in a relationship with, whatever it is, your spouse, whatever, be nice. There's no need to really be like super mean or be nasty.
And it
And
goes
sometimes
so
that shows
long.
up in a very emphatic way where people are just trying to get their point across, and it
Yeah.
sounds like they're coming off really, really mean. But then there are people that are just mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
and that's not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had to get better with that too.
Yeah.
But I mean, you tell me. I feel like I have, and there are times where I don't know if it's because I'm a woman or whatever. I wake up cranky. But it has nothing to do with him. And I'll say that. I'll be like, honey, it's not you, but I'm in a mood.
Oh, do
I can't really explain
you
it.
preface the mood with that
Yeah.
every time?
I try to.
Oh.
I do try because sometimes I catch myself. I'm like, oh, that didn't sound right. But I also sometimes feel like a little on edge. For no apparent reason.
Yep.
I remember
Men have it hard, right?
we
Yeah,
were-
deal with this.
Yep.
we were in your backyard hanging out, and it was while your family was there, and your brother's friend was talking to me and Janine, and he's like, "Oh, how long have you guys been married?" And we was like, "We've been married for almost 18 years now." And he says, "Oh, it's probably because you're a therapist, right?" And at the same time, he was like, "Nope."
Nope. It's nothing to do with that. It's a
Nope.
lot of trial and error.
And all I have to say is,
Is it
Even
because
though-
she's in pharma?
nope.
Nope.
Because even if you have the tools, right? Even if you have the tools, even if you know the right things to do, it doesn't always mean that you execute on them.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
So
Yeah. Like, there are things that, I mean, I would definitely say over the years, I've been guilty of knowing better and not doing better. And I had to flip that because after a while, it's like, all right, this is not happening just because, it's just happening. You're causing this. Like I was really showing up for a lot of it in a bad way,
Yeah.
as you said before, leaning into a lot. And I was like, damn, but I actually like this person. I love
Right.
them. Why am I like this? And I realized that a lot of it was just misplaced stuff that I needed to work through because it had nothing to do with him. It was
Right.
it was me, but little things would happen and I used it as an excuse to like
I'm like, yep. That's self-sabotage.
let it out.
Yeah. Of course.
So, but yeah, being a therapist had nothing to do
Right.
with it.
and this is the first time I'm hearing all of this.
My,
Right
my,
now.
my little revelations. It's
revelations.
not the first
You
time you're hearing all of them.
You don't share any of these
That's
revelations
not
with
true.
me.
That is not true.
You heard it
I have
first
shared
here.
at least half of them with you. Not all, but
At
half.
least half.
At least half.
So that
then
means
the
he
rest-
wasn't listening to me. He
the
wasn't
rest of
listening.
them
He
she
was
shared
not
with the
listening.
world.
He wasn't listening.
Just share with everybody else.
Hey.
But
Should have with you and the rest with the world.
yeah.
Yeah. Now you're whole.
Now the world knows. What was that word she used when she said? I'm kidding.
Revelation. Oh man. What else is on that list?
There's another simple act, gratitude.
Oh, that's
So-
huge.
The simple act of getting into the habit of saying thank you, and being appreciative of things that are done around you, for you, with you, beside you, because what may seem sort of small and kind of small in your mind could be a large contribution in the other person's mind, right? In your significant other's mind. So don't downplay the significance of any little act. So just be appreciative, show some gratitude for the things that go on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You mean like when you get fresh sheets all the time? Clean towels?
So
That
I was about to give an example that gave you credit. I don't even know if I want to do it anymore. But
Fabricator.
oh my gosh, this is an example of me not providing the gratitude, right? So, my wife, which we both we both work full time. So, and then we both have like all these extra things going on, whether it be school, it's a second career, children, podcasts, and
Third career.
and then my wife still finds time to clean the kitchen, and she won't get any gratitude or thank you for wiping down the countertops. But she'll make you aware that you didn't thank her for it. But
100%.
but it's an example of where I need to step up my game and be like, wow, the kitchen looks great, honey. You did a great job. And I can be better at that. Yeah.
Does she tell you she's the only one that cleans up that area?
No,
No.
she can't tell me that.
Because it's not true.
No, but she will say that
What are you getting
no
at,
one
James?
does it.
I'm sorry?
What are you getting
What do you mean? It's just a question.
at? Oh, okay. Yes, I'm
Do you feel some kind of way about that?
I do not.
Okay.
Okay.
Pineapple,
I'm seeking
pineapple.
to understand.
Oh,
Right?
Okay.
Pineapple,
It's just
pineapple.
we're trying to, clarify right here.
Okay.
Trying to be clear.
Clear.
Clarify.
Be clear.
Asked and answered.
But gratitude is huge, right? How far does a thank you go?
Exactly.
How far does it goes a
It
long
goes a
way.
long-
Yeah,
way.
I think
It does.
I think we need to
It does.
confirm
And
that for
Yes, we
us
should.
and for people listening
Yeah.
and watching.
Yeah.
Thank yous do go a long way. Now,
do.
if they're empty thank yous, shame on you.
Well, it's still like,
But-
hey, I loaded the dishwasher. I'm waiting for that. Thank you.
Yes, we're not giving out thank yous because you woke up in the morning and decided to,
Help.
put one leg on after the other. Like, you're not getting a thank you for that. But no 8th place trophies here.
Yeah. You know what else goes a long way?
What?
An
Sex?
apology.
Oh, yes. I am so big on apologies.
So is he.
Like, I need you to say that you were sorry.
But it's
what you
acknowledgement.
did.
It's
Say it.
acknowledgement.
And by the way, it doesn't have to be a sorry about the biggest things in the world.
No, it
they
doesn't.
could be small too. Like
Yes.
today, I walked out of the bedroom. This is one of Lisa's pet peeves. I walked out of the bedroom while she's getting dressed, right? And I forgot to close the door. I forgot to close the door on the way out.
And no, let me
She's
just,
not alone in that.
Let me just clarify. If our son wasn't home and he was in school, it
Sure.
wouldn't be a big deal.
Yes.
But because he was home and I'm coming out of the bathroom half naked, I don't want him seeing me like that.
Sure.
I don't want to see him.
Yep.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? So I am like,
So when I got
Mom,
so
yeah.
Mom, there's something on.
put those away.
But when I got to the bottom of the steps,
Yes. You said,
I heard the door
and
slam,
you said, I'm sorry.
and I turned around and yelled, "Sorry, babe!"
Yes. And I
And that was a heartfelt like, "Oh."
And I 1000% appreciate that because I was from angry. I went to, oh, he got it.
Yes.
See how
And
I
I
did
was
that?
like,
Yes.
See how I did that?
See how I
yes.
did that?
You did something like that.
He needs a shirt that says, "See how I did
See
that?"
how I
Yes.
did
see,
that?
I did that.
Yes.
America,
And mine says finally.
America.
everybody outside of America.
Like, see how he did it finally?
See how it? Yeah. My shirt would say, "See how I did that," and her shirt would say, "Finally." Hey, let's put it in the merch shop.
Yeah.
Some wife feels the same way right now.
Somewhere.
For sure.
No, but I did. I really
all
appreciated that
felt it.
because it brought me down.
Yes.
Because I was just like, because as soon I was like, what the many times I fucking and sorry, and I was like, oh, okay. All right. And I was like, okay. So yeah.
Right.
So I appreciated that. And it went a long way that you apologized and acknowledged.
Yes.
I think that was more, it was an acknowledgement of
Yeah.
you knew how that gets me up here.
Yes, and you didn't even have to say anything.
Yes.
Well, the door slamming really loud was saying
Well,
something.
but it
yeah.
wasn't even like, but here's the thing, like it wasn't even like a true door slam. It was just like a walking by and rushing because I was running late.
Yes.
But
Okay.
to you, it was a door slam. But yeah.
I think so. To your point, something else that can help to strengthen a relationship is de-escalating a situation. Having the ability to take things from a 9 or a 10 and help to bring it back down to a 3.
Not easy to do,
No, it's
Takes
not.
practice. A lot of
It does.
practice.
especially when tensions are running high.
Yep.
The topic of annoyance is very near and dear to someone's heart. You know, it can be really tough to do. To
I mean,
try to
what are some
de-escalate.
words that escalate the situation?
Oh, I thought you were going to say
Not a big deal.
de-escalate.
Oh, I hate
Not
that.
a
It's
big
not
deal.
A big deal.
Yeah.
Relax.
Calm down.
Calm down. Relax. Calm down.
Calm down.
There
Why
you
are
go.
you being sensitive?
Sensitive.
I am talking to every single man around the world right
You're
now,
so
listening
sensitive.
and watching.
You're so
Oh my God.
sensitive.
Don't say
Guilty.
relax. Don't say calm down. Don't say you're too sensitive. Just ixnay on the sensitive A.
Yep.
You need to say that to everyone, not just men.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
I
But
didn't
we're the
realize
biggest
that
perps.
that's like another form of name calling.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, that will take things to a 10 real quick.
Real
Yeah.
quick.
It's not, a big deal. Calm down.
It's not a big deal. Yeah.
So again,
You
to,
go.
Freaking the Hulk comes out.
flash
wanna
of that
see-
image of Janine with the fire behind her.
I know, right? somebody turn green real quick.
But to come full circle, so now how do you de-escalate? So we talked about how that could go the wrong way. How do we do it the right
You
way?
could be like, "Babe, I understand. I'm sorry."
Yep.
Empathy,
gonna say that.
understanding.
A lot of empathy,
Yep.
a lot of understanding, and sincereness goes a
Yeah.
long way.
Oh, sincerity.
Sincerity, sorry. Yes, you can't be like, "I'm sorry," because that's the tone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too
You-
quick of a knee jerk.
Too
I'm sorry.
quick, and it's
doesn't
just
work.
like, "Fine, I'm sorry." What? I said I was sorry. Then it's just like, no,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything. Like, take your sorry and shove it, because that sorry was not the sorry I wanted.
Right. That's the thing about tonality
Yeah.
and body language,
Yes.
which
Yep.
it means something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
It means
Yep.
shut up.
Yeah, I want to end this. Sorry.
And can we talk about understanding versus agreeing? Because I think sometimes people feel like if you admit to understanding what your partner is saying, that means you agree with them. And they are not the same thing. You could totally disagree, but understand their point of view.
Yes.
And I think that's really like, I mean, ideally, yeah, I would love it if you always agreed with me, but that's
Because then
not
it's like,
real life.
so you're saying I'm right, and they're like, no,
Exactly.
I understand, what it is, but you're
Yes.
saying that I'm right then.
Yes. Right?
But can you say, I hear what you're saying?
Uh-huh.
I mean, because
But I don't agree.
it
with
doesn't necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to say that you understand, and you always tell me I'm literal, and I can be really literal. And sometimes understanding you is a challenge.
Uh-huh.
So, in just saying I understand what you're saying,
Sometimes I need a little bit more
I want to
from you
mean
than
it
that.
when I say it.
But sometimes I need you to also like, I understand what you're saying, and what you're saying is like, I kind of
So I-
not all the sometimes.
So I try to paraphrase.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, is he? Because you see, he's a little.
No, I hear exactly what you're saying, because then you can
I'm
be
a
like,
little
okay,
what?
so then why are you sorry? Kind of
Right.
like, right?
I'm a little
Right.
what?
I'm sorry, but why are you sorry?
You've
Because
got
I
that
want you to say the
therapist
right
thing
thing.
going, right? So what I also sometimes would like to hear from you is not just saying that you understand, which is great. It's a great step, and most of the time that's fine. But sometimes I'm like, do you though? You know what I'm saying? Because maybe you're telling me you understand, but for whatever reason, I'm not really buying it. And it's probably because then you follow it up with something that brings me back to feeling like he didn't get it. He's saying he gets it. He didn't really get it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go this way. I'm
He
gonna
didn't
go
really
this
get
way
it.
and say, do you think he's saying that because he wants to just de-escalate the situation
Yeah,
and
and move
revisit
on,
it and
probably.
move
I'm
on?
always trying to
He doesn't want to
de-escalate.
revisit. He wants to move on.
Okay, so maybe move on, but now you're still engaging, right? Because he's not saying what you want to hear.
Yes.
Okay.
Which
so
is
I'm clear.
that you some form of truly understanding what I'm saying. For me, I think it's more acknowledgement over an apology. It weighs heavier for me. I appreciate an apology when it's sincere. I don't always look for it. I look for that acknowledgement and understanding that you understand where, even if you don't agree with
But
it.
understanding
feel
and
and how you
acknowledgement.
make
Yes,
feel.
because I often
Understanding
feel
and acknowledgement are two different
misunderstood
things.
and like maybe you don't understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah. I hear that. Yeah, I
You know what I'm
totally
saying?
understand what you're saying. Because I get that
Yeah.
a lot. I'm like,
Yeah.
did he understand
Yes.
where I was coming from? Like,
Yeah.
why that made me feel that way?
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't always understand.
I know you don't.
And
I don't always understand.
understanding and acknowledgement are two different things. Acknowledging something is basically taking responsibility for it, right? Is that what we're saying? Or am I acknowledging that you
How that
feel a certain way?
Yes, I think that's what it is. Like, you made
But
me feel a certain
then-
way, and I need you to acknowledge that what you said made me feel that way, or what you did.
In
Some
that-
understanding
Yeah.
around that.
In that sense, then yes.
And just taking accountability, I think, is a big one.
that's a big
for,
one, too.
For
Yeah.
how you made the other person feel. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you did something wrong, but you made them feel a certain way.
Yes.
So to me, I think that's a big
Yes.
one.
And the wrong response to that is, I'm sorry I made you, I'm sorry you
Feel
feel,
that way.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the right response is, I'm sorry, I made you feel that
Right.
way.
That's
Yeah.
the
The
right
wrong response is, I'm sorry, you feel that way.
Because it's like, what? Yeah.
That sounds like that's your
Your
problem,
problem.
not mine.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way,
That
but
sounds like a you
that's
problem.
a you problem. Yeah.
Oh God.
And I'm usually a big fan of don't make your problem my problem
Yeah.
in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So another thing, a huge thing that built a connection in our relationship was the fact that I could lean on my wife if I had a problem. Sometimes I would carry a burden and feel like I need to carry this burden, and I can't put this burden on my spouse. And she taught me, and I learned that she will share the burden, and it lifted such a heavy weight off of me. And I think that's a huge thing that kind of strengthened our relationship, because now when there's a problem and to me, and she says, what do you say I do?
I don't know.
I like over exaggerate a problem, or I basically make a problem larger than it needs to be. But it's something that's weighing heavy
he's
on
dramatic
me.
about it. He'll be like, "Oh, I have bad news," and immediately I'm like, "Oh, what?" And then he says it, and I'm like, I mean, it's not great news, but it's not the way you were like, "Oh, I have bad news." It wasn't that level, you know. I mean, you know, you're happy,
Yeah.
but I'm like, why do you do that?
But no, I hear, because James, I feel James is the same way, because he goes through some things, and I'm like, I'm here. I'm like, let me know what you need. And I tell you that a lot. I'm like, what is it you need? I'm like, I'm here. Use me. I'm here. I'm here. You know? And he's like, oh, okay. And then he's like, no, I got it. And you can see like his
He's stressed.
freaking brain pulsating because there's just so much going on up there. And I'm like, I'm here. I can help with that. You know, like give me some of that load.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you know, you got to be okay with, you know, being okay with not carrying the full burden.
It's not as
Carrying
easy.
the load.
It's not as
Yeah.
easy as just doing it.
Yeah.
It's not something that just happened naturally. Is because it's something that, and it's funny because my wife like, you don't communicate. So and sometimes bad communication is just not communicating at all. And then I learned to get to a point where I can share these burdens, and my wife
We figure it out.
Yeah.
would help
You figure it
to,
out.
to figure it out. Whereas I felt like, and I don't know if life put me in the space where I need to solution it first and then present what it is with a solution.
Yeah.
But a true partnership, I'm able to bring it to our round table and say, hey, this is what's happening. And then we problem solve and solution it together. And that's been, oh my gosh. Because
I also feel like it's also been a part of like the way we grew up, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
That plays a huge role. I know it does with me, that, you know, I had to like figure it out on my own.
right.
Yeah, we did not share our problems.
You don't share
What?
your
You didn't
problems.
do that.
Nobody's supposed to know what's going on.
Nobody
in your
even asked
household.
you.
Nobody
Right.
asked.
How you
Nobody
doing?
cared.
Fine.
Nope.
You got to figure it out on your own.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't talk
You know?
about any of our problems with
Nope.
any of our family members.
Nope.
We didn't share any of it
Anything.
with kids. You know, as
Yeah, kids.
children growing up, we didn't share. We're pretty open about most things
With
now
our kids now,
Yeah.
you know, but
Because
that
of-
also took a while.
of learning. You know, learning what not to
Not
do.
to do.
Yeah.
Learning what not to do.
You know,
Yeah.
and then so now trying to,
best
now you have
teacher.
a partner, right? Your spouse, and you can share that burden, share that load, and you're still carrying that
Yes.
from when you were
Yeah.
younger, because that's all you had. You
Yeah.
You know?
That's it.
But I would say even today, there's certain things I won't, because I don't want to bring work home all the time.
But it doesn't
So-
have to be work. It can just be anything. you
But the
know?
majority of my issues
Yeah.
are workload based,
But sometimes
because that's where I
and-
spend most of my time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but sometimes what do I tell you? I'm like, sometimes you just need an outside person
Yeah. Yeah.
to help you with whatever is happening, and,
Yeah.
and just to give you a different perspective.
Yeah.
So I say, let me know what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Share
I
with-
do.
And some of his work stuff
do.
is interesting.
I know.
This is like a lot of craziness. It's some like, you know, whatever. But I mean, it's work. I mean, I know one of the things we always ask, like, how was your day or
day?
whatever. And so one of the things I've been saying lately, I don't know, for a while, is I'm like, it's the usual craziness. There's nothing in particular going on, but it's kind of like my way of,
Same old same.
yeah, like I'm telling him what's going on, which is the truth, meetings, whatever, nothing new, but, telling him as much without getting into the
the whole-
details, because there's really nothing, but there. It's kind of day to day.
Like yesterday, I was on my way home and I texted Lisa. I was like feeling kind of deflated or demotivated or something today. There was stuff going on at the office. She's like, that sucks. She was like, are you all right? I was like, yeah, I just stopped at Starbucks to get some coffee and I'm on my way.
Yeah.
Right. But I did that to share, but I also was cautious to not overshare.
Yes.
Because I don't want Lisa to, in that, 2-hour commute back home from where I was, yesterday, I don't want her to feel like he's on his way home and it's going to be, the levels are going to be down in the dumps. And I don't want that to immediately be the thought process.
Yeah.
Because, she could be having a great day and I don't want to put the damper on that.
Right.
Right. By saying, oh, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. And then, we hang up and then it's like, oh, he's coming home and now I've got to worry about him. And like, she doesn't need that, like none of us need the extra added stress. So I think we try to manage through, tackle it first, or sometimes not even share, because you have to manage the load of emotions going on in the house.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. I think that's
so
okay.
too.
Yeah.
And I think we're both good about, if there is a particular high or low, thing happening at work, we definitely talk about that. But if it's just kind of status quo, that's kind of my way of saying that. Like nothing particular. It was busy, but that's normal. There's nothing that stood out,
Right.
And he'll, like today I asked him, his tone was a little, but he didn't really go into it.
Yeah.
He was like, it was okay. It was a little, but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. And it's going to be like that. We know that. But anyway, before we end, I did want to add one more thing.
One more thing.
Date night.
Date night. I think date nights are
or
so
your equivalent
Critical.
of it, right?
What a
I was-
great way to
yes, because
Yes.
date night is important.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or what's your connect night? How do you
don't have to go
right?
out, but just have a day,
Yes.
a night at home where
Yes.
it's just you guys, you connect. Whether it's
Yes.
we used to do this before, we couldn't really afford to go out or whatever. We would just get a blanket, lay on the floor, get Chinese food,
I love
That's
that.
dope.
Isn't that
and
awesome?
turn the lights low. Do you
Yes.
remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
And that was our thing. And get
Find a great
cheap
rom-com.
bottle of
Yes.
wine.
cheap bottle of wine, a great
love-
rom-com. It had to be
love
something
that.
with Matthew McConaughey in it, most likely.
What did you
so-
guys do with the kids when you had date night at home?
They were in their room.
Benetinis.
That's perfect.
No,
so you
stop
would,
that.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god,
so I'm talking about James. That's what I'm talking about. No.
it's not true.
Martinis for the parents and Benetinis for the kids.
Lord.
That's hilarious.
And they all turned out just fine.
Just
Yeah,
fine.
they all worked out just fine.
I think you're having an allergic reaction to something.
Let me put some Ambisol on that.
So you basically put the kids to bed, or just made sure they
They
were
were good, yeah.
and then you guys planned. I
Yes.
love
You
love
have
that.
to do something
Love
for
it.
yourselves,
Yeah.
just to reconnect.
Yes.
Get that back.
Yes.
Like you have to
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
Because when you're not doing that, and it's the same crap every
Yes.
single day, you start getting resentful.
Yes.
You start doing your own thing.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm going out with
You
the
drift
girls.
apart.
He's
Yep.
like, I'm going out with the guys.
Yep.
I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that.
Yep.
And then it's just like now you're roommates.
Exactly.
You are.
And it's
Right.
like why even bother?
Yeah.
I mean, date night forces you to do a few things together, right? Forces you to eat
Yeah.
together.
Yep.
It forces you to talk to each other.
You've always been really good about enforcing date night. I have to say that. Whether we, even when we, money was tight, you've always been the one leading that. Like, no, we gotta, it's Tuesday or whatever. Yeah, he chose the night.
Tuesday
gotta
was our night, but we
Yeah.
didn't figure it out until later in our relationship. That
Yeah, but we've been doing it for a long time.
we've been doing it for,
It's been
a
a
good
long
while
time.
now.
Yeah.
but we've been together for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think I realized in the moment how important it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, when we started to do it, at first I was like, oh, date night? Really? because I'm thinking about the kids who's going to
Yes.
watch them, like, the obstacles, right?
Yep.
As opposed to date night.
Yeah.
And then when we started to do it, I was like, oh, okay, this is fun. We
I
can
mean,
figure this out.
we used to
Yeah.
get on the bus for an
you
hour
really-
plus ride into Manhattan, right? Where we
Yep.
went to one particular Mexican restaurant that we always loved.
Yep.
Then we would walk across Midtown, hang
You better
out,
not say where
walk,
we went after that.
walk back across. We used to walk across, grab a drink, walk back across, get on the bus, and go home. And that being said,
Yep.
that wraps up this. That wraps up this wonderful episode.
We're gonna leave that one to the imagination.
We said-
The imagination should go to the first topic of the episode.
And with that, we're going to wrap up shop here. So hope you found all these wonderful habits that you should be creating
Yep.
for healthy and happy relationships. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, watching, subscribing, hit that notification bell, do all the things.
Yes,
Come hang out with us.
absolutely.
That being said, we'll catch you all in the next episode.
Cheers.
Friends after
So-
40.
Cheers.
This mark is hitting.
Good night.
Later.